Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome along to episode 58 of the Sofamanager Scottish Football podcast. And after last week's slight European trip, we are back to predominantly Scottish football, as we don't seem to know much else. Truth be told, so ahead of the World Cup, when everyone else is podcasting about World Cup things, we're of course going for the niche listener and the topics that nobody cares about, because that's, I think, our core audience. So on this week's show, I will talk about why I truly live up to my name as the worst announcer in Scotland, or the ropiest, or certainly the ropiest assistant announcer in Scotland, as I did the Women's International Scotland game. So stay tuned for a cringe-worthy tale about that. We'll also kind of summarise the women's game a little bit as well. We'll also be talking about the demise of junior or amateur football. News this week that I think 25 of the East of Scotland teams are leaving sort of amateur and junior ranks to pursue the professional ladder, and also looking at Kenny Miller and the newly promoted Premiership management circus that surrounds, and a little bit of news about the FIFA Champions League. Whilst we'll also have, I said we weren't talking about it, but we kind of are, expert previews from the editor of Sofamanager.com, an expert fitness blogger as well of late. And joining us for the first time in a few weeks again, it is John Brown.
Hello.
How are you doing, John?
Not too bad.
I've been very much missed. Our last episode with you was a great success.
It was. That's why I'm back.
Yes, we've managed to coax him back. 200 listens now on that Falkirk review, so thank you very much for all that tuned in. We're also now available on a few more platforms. You can get us on a podcast forum called Anchor. We're hoping to go live on the likes of iTunes within the next couple of weeks or so stay tuned for that as well. But anyway, I think we'll just crack on, shall we?
Indeed.
So, first things first, it was the Women's International last week now, between Scotland and Belarus to qualify for Paris 2019.
Wow.
Not Paris, France 2019. You should be excited because it may well be the only World Cup we actually get to. 2-1 victory there for the girls. I think a stunningly Scottish performance. A game in which we totally dominated and went behind in.
Sounds about right.
Did you see the goals at all, John?
I certainly seen the goals. Pretty decent. I mean, that was at the last year scored. Was for Chelsea, is it?
Cuthbert, I think is her name, isn't it? Yeah.
Was down in England. Looked fantastic.
Yeah, I think one of the goals she scored was one of the most unlikely to go in, but
tight angle.
Go in, it did. The goal we conceded, yeah, you know.
I've seen them conceded a Falkirk like that quite a lot.
That's true. It was straight at the keeper, and I was like, you've got to be kidding. The only shot Belarus had. But a very, very exciting match. The atmosphere was good. An attendance of 2,007 people. Oh, they couldn't have bumped it up to like 2018 or something just for the banter. So, bear that in mind. We've got a nice large crowd. We've got that probably about the same watching on BBC Alba as well. So, as some of you might know, I am an assistant match day announcer. And you've not heard this story yet, John, have you?
I haven't. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, this is good. So I've been ridiculed at this work. This story has also apparently made the BBC Radio Scotland news as well. And this is all down to, well, partially me. Almost entirely.
All you.
Yes. So we're going through the match, our usual pre-match routine. The music's going, the girls come out of like 500 miles. We go into the intro music. All very, very good. We're delivering the smooth and slick experience we always do at the Falkirk Stadium. And my job is to operate the buttons, just up in the wee tower, press the music, getting it to go when it needs to, and I feed off my kind of main announcer guy who does all the voices and stuff like that. So the teams line up either side, and we get the call, can you please be upstanding with respect for the national anthem of Belarus? And that's what was heard. Nothing. I've clicked the file, and it said sound file not found. And it's like, I'm on live TV. I have no Belarusian national anthem. I can't Spotify this tune out of nowhere. So it's literally on the footage as well. If you go back and watch the BBC Alba, the first bit, there's about, and this felt like an hour. Felt like an hour. About a minute of just pure silence whilst we're all panicking. And if you look at the back of shot, you can actually see me standing. I'm very relaxed. and like the only sound file that wasn't there was this national anthem. And you see me sit down and I'm literally hammering a mouse in complete panic. I have never, ever wanted the ground to swallow me up so much in my entire life. Well, there's giggling from the crowds. I think the wee galley man was just like, holy hidda. I'm just like, I don't know what to do. But eventually we got it going off of trusty YouTube.
I was going to say YouTube would be the next best
Yeah,
bet.
YouTube got us there in the end. But, when you're in the heat of the moment, it's a flat out disaster.
I wouldn't even know. I would have just played the Russian national anthem.
Well,
That's close enough.
Do you know what? Literally, people have said to me, if you had like the Borat thing or whatever, I would have played it. If I had any piece of audio, I wouldn't have bothered because nobody would have known.
No.
And I don't think many people were tuned in Minsk to watch their female football team.
I wouldn't imagine.
That was another challenge with them, was their names. Although most of them were called Anastasia, the second names were beyond comprehensible. So if it was me doing it, I would have got nowhere near. Nowhere near. So that was the exciting tale, but it ended up on, apparently they were talking about it on BBC Radio Scotland the following day. I was frantically checking social media, be it Twitter, because if one of these things, you know how you get these...
It could snowball. Yeah.
It could be one of these viral things. Fortunately not.
They're burning effigies of you in Belarus, Kelly.
Quite, but that's what they said. I'm going to have to be going on some sort of peace treaty mission to Minsk, with my apologies.
You and Alexander Hleb can have both hands walking down.
It's Hleb from Belarus. We couldn't think of anyone we knew from Belarus, but absolute disaster. And yes, if you are burning effigies of me in Belarus, so be it. But we know better for next time, and I'll always have a spare national anthem, be it the correct one or not.
That doesn't matter.
On hand. Very fortunately, we had a piper, so no buttons, no buttons to press there.
Did he not get the national anthem?
Yeah, he was fine. He was fine. Oh, it was a long night. It was a night of omens. I think, looking back, but a great experience, a great atmosphere. Thought the Scots were lacking in confidence a bit for as much dominance as they had. Could have done a bit more shooting. But when the goals came, well, there was a bit of a problem.
Why?
Well, a very youthful and exuberant crowd. These girls are hooligans, John. I've never seen casuals like it.
Nah, they've been
quite frankly
inspiration for the Hamilton last.
Quite possibly. They were like grabbing all these girls left, right, and centre for autographs. But the celebrations for the goals, flossing absolutely everywhere. Flossing. I believe someone got caught on camera. Someone's mother was dabbing in a football crowd the other day.
Not old school.
It's just crumbling. It's absolutely crumbling. We talk about scenes. It's just going to look like a crowd of like Fortnite animated players if it keeps going at this rate. And they are the future.
Shoot them.
We can't do that. There's not enough shooting in Scotland as it is. Hey. But is this behaviour to be encouraged to get the youth along?
100% not.
You not see yourself flossing or dabbing after the goal was scored, John?
I'm not that flexible.
I would love it. First Betfred Cup game of the season, you look out for John Brown and the dabbing and the floss. Not the sloss. But the floss. You knew the sloss. But not the floss. But all these footballers and things play all these video games and that now with the dances in them, and there's been a few celebrations that have
it's cringe. I hate it. Absolutely detest it.
It's not at the core of football.
It doesn't go to the heart of your core of the demographic though.
It doesn't. Speaking of the core demographic though, junior and amateur football. We had news this week on the BBC, and John will be kind of expertly placed to talk about this. 25 teams leaving the East of Scotland league in one form or another. I think there's a number of divisions and things they run.
Yes.
But I know they've voted in another 26, so those teams have been easily replaced, I believe. So that's all well and good. But these guys look now to go out and pursue, I think, what is going to become the sixth tier of Scottish football. From the article, I couldn't quite work out whether another league, like a Lowland League 2 or something, would be created.
It's just a mismatch. As far as I can work out, you're right, 20 odd teams have left the junior set up in the East of Scotland and have became part of the... That's incorrect. They've left the SGFA East region.
Yes.
To join the East of Scotland League. I think that's the right way round.
Okay, right.
And then for there, there's 3 conferences in the east of Scotland,
Right.
in the kind of SFA bracket,
Right.
who will play each other. I think it's 3.
Oh yeah, and
It's
the
3 or
three
13 because
the
there's
three
a
winners then go into like some sort of playoff
They go into
structure.
kind of weird round robin, and then the winner of that goes into a playoff with the South of Scotland winner, who will go into a playoff against the bottom of the Lowland League for promotion and relegation.
Right,
I
okay.
think that's my interpretation.
Right.
God Almighty, it's confusing.
Well, I think it is confusing. I think the main question for me was, is this, diluting the lack of concentration we already have, or is this providing more variety
I mean,
to our game?
it does the right thing, just in a really awkward way.
Yeah.
If
Do
you
we
look-
need more professional teams, though? Or
they're not-
semi-professional?
well,
or...
yeah, I mean, you can't really class them as professional teams, especially
No,
at that level.
no.
They operate as they do. But if you look at near enough any country in the world, they don't have the same kind of mismatch as we do
No.
in their kind of pyramid system. And you take, I was reading an article about a team from Austria Graz, I think that's their name. They went from the top tier to the 8th tier, much like they did at Rangers, really. Completely liquidated and
Yes.
came back as a new club. Started at the bottom, very bottom, and they've now worked their way up into the 3rd tier.
Well done.
But there's 8 tiers
Yeah.
to that kind of Austrian system.
A big cake.
They're not a huge country. I mean, there's maybe twice the size of what Scotland is. That's how it should be.
Yeah.
And you look at Germany, they've all kind of got a regional system. England kind of have one.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. It makes sense to have these kind of teams coming in. I think the Ayrshire teams aren't far behind.
Mm-hmm.
I was reading an article from some
Don't source it, it's fine.
regional...
Go to
dude.
Sofamanager, I'll be up there.
Aye. I'll reference it Harvard style, and we'll put it up. But fundamentally, the secretary of the SGFA is kind of implied that they're looking to kind of slot in at the 6th tier anyway
Right.
and join in, and that'll stop clubs leaving and
Right.
joining the SFA and
Future.
sort of diluting the SGFA.
They don't have a lot of time to get that
They
sorted.
need to get the thing of it.
I think that it's interesting that we've had teams like Linlithgow Rose have been very successful in cup competitions, and it's always been bizarre that there's been like a ceiling put on those sort of teams.
It did make sense that there's some reasonably big clubs,
Mhm.
especially kind of Midlothian, borders of Edinburgh. Some really good clubs. Like I say, the Ayrshire teams are big. In fact, they're probably bigger than a lot of the teams that are currently in League Two, in terms of attendances and kind of geographical pool of supporters.
Well, more people go to junior games in that area than they would the Ayr United or the Kilmarnock games.
Pretty much.
To a certain extent.
If you compare, I would love to compare sort of the average Bowness and Linlithgow crowds to the Shire.
That's probably very comparable.
They won't be far off. And I think if Bowness start to perform a little bit better, they're going to come out a little bit more. The same with Lithgow Rose. So yeah, there's potential in amongst all of these guys.
So the Rangers fans of Bowness United to build new Ibrox as they rise to the top of Scottish football.
I mean, there was always talk that we're going to buy Morton if everything went wrong and then relocate Morton to Glasgow.
Oh, really?
That was a rumour.
That would be a disaster. It's very interesting, and I wonder, how the fans would react to this, because I believe that fans of these types of clubs are very much diehards,
aye.
of football, and sometimes when you support these sort of teams, this structure of football is actually not what you're after.
They have to be careful because they are now going to fall under SFA rules and regulations,
Yes.
which, as we know, are utterly stupid and a lot of the time. I mean, I can guarantee that there's going to be some mental rule about they must have floodlights, which I know a lot of them don't. They'll have to have a flush and loo somewhere. I can guarantee a lot of them don't.
That's ambitious.
The pies have to be at room temperature. It's
Oh, health and safety standards, no way.
no danger.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, it depends on how much we do want to professionalise the game, but I guess if they want to step up to that level and have that sort of opportunity, it just put me in mind of the likes of when Inverness, Caledonian and Thistle merged to become a bigger team, and there was just fury,
Everywhere,
complete fury. And I know going to one of these East of Scotland Cup finals is the guys that were there knew the guys on the pitch, and I get the impression that like every fan at those sort of clubs has a role to play, in terms of, volunteering, community, things like that. And if you went, say if Bowness United, or Linlithgow Rose or like Auchinleck or whoever, did get promoted up to League 2, League 1, it becomes a much bigger, well, I say a much bigger deal. It's not exactly the bright lights.
It is for them though. That's a huge, that's the incentive for them now.
That's true.
Is to at least break into the Lowland League or Highland League, depending on where you kind of are and at what stage.
I don't know what the amateur structure's like in the Highlands.
Well, it's mostly teams from Aberdeenshire and
yeah, I suppose.
And they themselves, their junior teams are looking to leave. And
yeah,
the SGFA as an entity really is annoying. There's every chance that's going to disband in the not too distant future.
That's what's happening. Yeah, I mean, it's something we spoke a lot on the podcast is about the two kind of merging. But no, I think it seems like a positive thing.
It's the right thing to do.
Yeah. And as we say, it still is very difficult if you want to progress up the league because of the playoff system. Mind you, people like Fort William and like Hoyk Royal Albert will be quaking in their boots because
bottling it and they're useless.
But then that was the good thing about East Stirlingshire sat in comfort at the bottom, and it took away that safety net. These clubs,
the bottom of League 2, it's all opened up now, and you can really filter out teams that maybe shouldn't be there. They're there by kind of virtue rather than right.
Yeah,
which is quite good for competition.
It's actually quite exciting. We haven't had such change in football structure in quite some time.
Probably since the playoffs got introduced at the top end.
Yeah, but even then, these are whole leagues.
Well, this is huge. It opens everything up.
Well, we'll be sure to get along a little bit more. I've still not been to a junior football match aside from that.
It's good when it's sunny. That's all I would say. I've been when it's -3, -4 and it's brutal, but
nobody likes football in those conditions. But it was interesting you brought up English teams and stuff there, because we heard the big news this week.
Oh God, I hope we weren't going to talk about it.
You weren't too pleased about this. On the @Sofamanager FC Twitter account, we are including Sutton United and another team.
Something on the north.
Something like that. Sutton United, I know, but two teams from is it the Conference North and the Conference South? Good grief.
That was my reaction. Not even the Conference Premier, it's the Conference North and South.
Well, into the Iron Brew Challenge Cup.
Yes.
Which rounds off are very much our kind of Home Nations Champions League tournament, which we're kind of having.
This is close to just turning into a farce.
Well, do you what is the scope with this competition?
Right, it depends on what kind of tinted glasses you've got on at the moment.
But are they actually looking to drop the Scottish moniker and make this like a British Imperial Cup or whatever?
The cynic in me suggests that they're doing this to creak open the door for Rangers and Celtic to bugger off down south. It makes sense. It's a cross-border competition. UEFA aren't too keen on cross-border competition, but then they can go, but look at the Iron Brew Cup.
What says UEFA?
Who?
Exactly.
They actually had to apply for permission for this.
Did they? To who? The FA?
Not to the UEFA.
Oh, good grief! I'd love to see someone reading that report. We've sent over a few cans of Iron Brew, some Tunnock's caramel tea cakes.
There'll be some guy in a big UEFA office in, I think they're in, is it Sion?
Switzerland,
Sion or something like that. A wee email flashes across to Ian Maxwell or whoever at the SFA.
What is this malarkey?
Iron Brew Cup. Click this link.
To be taxed money you don't actually owe us. Again, I'll be interested to see how they get on.
Nope.
More times than not last season, it was a bit of a headache when you drew one of these teams because it was impossible to get there or whatever. It would be a bit less difficult for the English sides, but they're not really bringing raucous attendances that are going to rock the boat.
Struggle. I think they're doing it for money. And I think they're going to try and sell it to BT.
It's all money.
Because BT cover the Vanarama conference. And
they have a really weird deal with Alba, S4C, and Premier Sport, I think.
Oh, the Premier Sport not do Betfred Cup?
No, I don't think so.
Challenge Cup?
BT are Betfred Cup entirely, and I think Premier did a bit of the Iron Brew. So, but then the S4C thing's weird because it's their own like Welsh language commentary and stuff.
It says they're equivalent to, it's like Channel 4. It's Welsh Channel 4.
Again, this whole thing turns on its head when one of these teams wins this competition and we ask, what's the point in our Scottish Challenge Cup being won by...
Challenge Cup, especially if an English team wins it. Especially if somebody like Sutton United. Sutton United beat, I don't know, take a pick, Wraith in the final. Like, what a disaster. Like,
Well, I'll be interested to see how
Where
they
are they
slot
going to
in.
play it?
Well,
Carlisle.
I think a conference team could have pushed some of the championship teams. Conference North and a Conference South, I'm really unsure because it's way beyond my remit as far as knowledge of football goes. Although Sutton United, I think, had a good FA Cup run.
Are they not partially owned by Paul Scholes and... Is that not Sutton United?
No, that's Salford City.
No, Sutton United have got a connection.
Don't think so.
I'm sure they do.
I'm pretty sure not.
I'll Google it.
Well, the Scottish boy signed for Salford City, actually, weirdly enough. But by the by, so Sofamanager's approval there is pretty low.
It's grim. I'm
Pretty low.
looking forward to Sutton United versus the New Saints live on S4.
But that'd be handier.
It'd be handy for them.
Maybe, do you think it would be a better idea if you were going to commit to this British idea, regionalise all the Challenge Cups and then have some sort of...
British Super Cup.
Well, yeah, like a tournament of... Like a mini... You know...
You could have...
The British Imperial Cup in the summer and just like...
Wow, how throwback is that?
Well, that's essentially what they're creating here. Well, kind of. I mean, it's not the best team from Scotland against the best team in England, but, you know...
They could do a... They could revamp the Community
nations.
Shield and make that a home nation...
Home nations trophy.
You could have Celtic. Is it Chelsea that won the FA Cup?
Uh-huh.
Whoever won the Welsh Cup.
Oh, but
whoever
no,
that may
you
be.
can't do
That'd be
that.
funny as
Because, like, TNS or whatever turn up and get absolutely...
Oh, you could have
thumped.
TNS absolutely roasting Conaway Giants and
But then
Ballatown.
that's like the baby teams, and then they play Celtic, which are a much bigger team, and then Celtic play, you know, Man City, a much bigger team than them, and then the whole thing's pointless.
That'd be great.
Okay, well, you know, write in if you think that's a good idea.
Or just use the
John Brown.
reserves.
Well, Colt teams again are in this
No.
competition, so
That's worse than some of the English teams.
it's tough because they bring nothing to the table, absolutely nothing. But as I said on last week's podcast, that's where Scott McKenna started his season, and look how he turned out. So happy days there. Speaking of Aberdeen, a Mr. Kenneth Miller has been on the hunt for a new club in the last week. And it looks like he's been talking to Aberdeen, he's been talking to Hibernian, but Livingston have popped up as well with, I think, an opportunity for a wee player management role. Which is interesting because that Livingston position seems to be doing the rounds at the moment.
Nobody wants it.
Well, that's what's kind of occurring to me. And even a lot of their players are jumping ship right now. A lot of players are jumping ship from these promoted teams to stay in the Championship.
Yes, I'm quite surprised by that.
What's appealing? I don't understand.
It's hard to say. In the meantime, Sibs is going the other way.
I know.
Which
But then
again, bizarre.
I think Livingston's also signed the boy, Louis Laney from Morton. That's not a name
I'd never heard of him.
remembered for being a standout of last season. Players they lost: Gregory Buchanan, central defender to Morton, but he got promoted with Dunfermline and decided, I'm going to stay with Wraith. Alright.
Fair enough. Right.
Jackson Longridge, we know, went to Dunfermline, and Josh Mullen to Ross County. I thought Josh Mullen was alright.
Yeah, and Jackson Longridge was a decent player as well.
Yeah, he did alright. So,
In fact, the rumour was he was staying and his brother Louis was going to go well to Livingston.
well, that's what I assumed.
Now the pair are at Dunfermline.
Yeah, did the reverse. And you know, without the manager there, they're keeping the backroom staff. So the assistant manager's going out to look for a new manager when he's back from holiday, because this isn't urgent business, apparently.
Where is he? Florida? Miami?
He's probably in the caravan in, like, Loch Lomond or something like that, as exotic as it will get. But there should be really alarm bells ringing here. They are not building... And I'm wondering if all these players know that the Premiership's not a long-term solution for this team.
I think they, in their heart of hearts, they'll know they're probably up for relegation this season. No doubt. They won't survive. It's a nice payday for them. That'll keep the club probably liquid for about 6 months to a year.
Season, yeah.
Till some mad Italian takes them over again.
Tony Macaroni, Tony Mac.
I don't understand it. I can understand if you take Sibbald as a kind of prime example for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
To an extent, I can understand why he wanted to move to the Premiership.
Yes.
Quite why it was Livingston, I don't know. If that was the only thing he was offered, or if he wanted to stay local.
And the thing is, you know, it's going to be a place you're going to get your opportunity in the Premiership. You're going to get a lot of game time in the Premiership. But yeah, that's a team that's just been completely broken up.
And the fact that your manager didn't stay That's a real concern. I would be quite worried about that.
But then he himself hasn't found a job yet either.
But does he necessarily want? He has all the cards. He's just got Livingston promoted.
He did have all the cards when he was managing Livingston.
But he can go. He can look and go. That's me got Livingston promoted on a shoestring budget.
But then
he can pick to an extent.
Speaking to one of my pals who's a Livingston fans, what she was saying was that your stock's high when you are somewhere, and when that goes, not so much. Because he was being linked with a lot of English teams. All that seems to have disappeared into the background now.
We've got to remember though, a lot of the English teams are still on holiday.
That's true. Absolutely,
quite substantially actually. They're miles away.
I'm sure he'll be fine.
He's maybe just waiting on Stubbs getting sacked.
Well, right. Of all the people they could have picked,
yes,
it's
we're
not.
We're going to move on to that.
It's not the person I would have gone for.
No, especially when you have 2 Champions League winners. Jim McIntyre established Premiership.
Right, hold on. No. Hold on, right. Champions League winners. Are you talking about Guti and like Kluivert and Benny McCarthy?
Not Benny McCarthy, but I was talking Guti and
Patrick Kluivert.
Right,
I am sorry, but someone in the St Mirren press room has got bored because Kluivert immediately distanced himself from these rumours, and I'm like, there's no way.
Oh,
not in a million years has Patrick Kluivert thought this is a good idea.
You can guarantee somebody that worked at the Daily Record was down at Manchester Airport the second Kluivert came in for Soccer Aid and went, whoa.
he must have come in from Prestwick Airport.
That's a story. Like,
absolutely right. Guti was nowhere near it either. Like,
that would have been great though. Him and Zidane.
Unbelievable. Well, wasn't Cathro was a coach at Real Madrid, or
he was a coach at Valencia.
There was a Scottish coach at Real Madrid, and I was like,
that might have been Cathro, but he was certainly at Valencia.
Aye. So I thought, maybe that's where all these stem from. No, but I'm sorry, no, none of them were taking that job.
But then to go from that kind of hype to Alan Stubbs,
well,
a man who couldn't get Hibs out the Championship.
That's the thing. They were lauding his success, and I was like, he couldn't get a team promoted. The best team by far.
Especially the second season though.
Aye. That was when the Hibs thing came in.
Aye, Hibs Stubbs.
And the thing is, he didn't last long at Rotherham.
He was annihilated at Rotherham.
Aye.
Utterly destroyed. He never lasted, I think it was 4 or 5 months. He signed absolute nonsense. He thought he could kind of take a Scottish centric squad into the English Championship and was very quickly found out.
Yeah.
I think Volks was the only standout.
I don't think it was the players, because we saw they've just gone up through the playoff system, so it probably wasn't the players. I was disappointed to see folk like Robbie Nielsen distancing himself from it, because I thought it's quite a decent job to get yourself back on the
yes, but I do wonder if his eyes are firmly down south
or back on Hearts.
Yes, I would wait about 3 or 4 months. Levine will get the
Is that your Levine clock ticking? Oh, that's a good Sofa Manager production for the year. How long will Craig Levine last? Put your bets in now.
The Levine death clock.
Quite every chance. But also for like Livingston, which I forgot to talk about, it was Hartson's the one strongly linked. I would be shocked. I'd be absolutely bamboozled.
For everything and doesn't get it. He was linked with the Falkirk job twice, I think.
He wouldn't take the Falkirk job though. He's too big a name to take the Falkirk job.
He came out and specifically says, I want the Falkirk job, and then they gave it to Houston. And I'm sure he did it this previous time when they appointed Gary Holt.
Oh, right, okay.
I think that was around about the same time as well. He came out and was, I really want this job.
He's got a foot in the door at Livingston.
Well, I was going to say, he's assistant, was he not?
So. Yeah, well, striker's coach or whatever, so something like that.
Oh, but him and Lee Miller.
Lee Miller. He'd be a brilliant manager. I saw him encouraging those young lads at Development League. He was a cracker. Don't know what he was doing to them in the dressing room, but whatever works.
Feeding them Haribo.
Exactly. Never gave us any. So it'll be interesting to see. But good old Kenny Miller. I would love to see him at Aberdeen.
Would you?
Oh, he'd pump in more goals than Rooney,
yes,
May,
but, I mean, I'm fairly confident we could
and
do
Maynard
that as well.
Combined. Well, speak for yourself, pal. Speak for yourself. I don't know if he would go to Aberdeen. I think if he was going to move, he'd go to Hibs because it's Central Belt. It's less hassle to move. But Rangers have kind of chucked him by the wayside in a bit of an unceremonious manner.
Doing them, is he not?
Well, they're contesting, I think, their fines, which has to go through some SFA process, so it's going to get messy. Lionel. So we will wait and see how that goes. Before I move on, quick question for all the listeners of the Sofa Manager podcast. We don't have a quiz this week, but I thought I'd slot in a little question for the listeners. And it relates to our next topic. So, new FIFA was revealed, shockingly. You'll never guess the name. But my question was, what rating did Graham Dorrans have when he was at Livingston in FIFA?
Right, when would that have been? No,
Well,
405?
I had no idea how long ago it was. Answer at the end of the show. So stay tuned. Comment below what you think. It is quite remarkable. Anyway, speaking of FIFA 19 released at the Electronic Entertainment Expo, E3, in Los Angeles, to a pretty bland trailer as usual. Lots of flicks and tricks happening. Not really that much has changed. Nothing
the normal person can do.
No.
Without smashing their controller.
It was all CG'd and stuff like that. But news that they've got the Champions League licence is as exciting as Livingston St Mirren returning to the game.
No.
I don't think so.
We're going to see the Tony Macaroni Arena in the game?
Sadly not.
No.
I can confirm that pretty strongly at this point.
Disappointing.
Although some of the stadiums don't look a million miles away. Some of the generic ones are pretty close.
That's a fair shout, actually.
So if you want to rename it the Tony Macaroni Arena, feel free. But do we care about the Champions League licence?
No. Probably cost them a fortune.
Well, what got me was it was PES that had it before. And this week as well, I think PES have lost their agreement has been terminated early with exclusivity for Borussia Dortmund. Mm-hmm. Which I thought was a bit cheeky on the part of Borussia Dortmund to say, no, we want to have our full shebang in FIFA, when they've signed this, honourable agreement with Pro Evolution Soccer. So it must be so difficult for them being the competing product.
Yes, it'll be absolutely horrendous, especially just now.
To bounce back from their licensing, they've of course got the Scottish Premiership in the game. Woohoo!
Wow.
So St Mirren and Livingston will feature there. As well. It's not a game I've ever played very much, unfortunately.
I've never played PES. Never.
FIFA's getting a bit repetitive.
I hate FIFA. I went back to it last night.
Just to try.
Weirdly enough, played one game, lasted about an hour.
Yeah.
Got destroyed, turned it off.
It's been very repetitive, and they're now squeezing the money out of you for life. These packs and stuff, absolutely insane. I've not touched the World Cup update, to be honest, recently. But I thought I'd talk about my dream football game. I don't know if I've spoken about this before, have I? Probably have. Right. Don't need any licensed players. None of that. No interested in that. Game purely based on a career mode structure. This could be online as well. Mm-hmm. But you create the stadium, right? You build it up. You can start from junior level. You can start from friggin' schoolboy level. Well, maybe not schoolboy level. That might be weird. But you can start from junior level, and you're slogging the crap. There's a button for 2-footed challenges, and at that level you'll get a talking to and nothing else. And you can take them all the way to the stars. You build your stadium and you design your kits. I wish they would let us design the kits. As you've maybe seen on the Sofamanager Instagram, I have a habit of sticking our logo on pretty much anything I design, including my Gran Turismo cars, which it's probably insane, but it did lead one guy. One of my car designs was pretty smart. It was based on one of the old classic ones, and I called it Sofamanager Tribute or whatever. But he was like, "Oh, this is Sofa King Cool." Split the words up, and I thought that's very clever.
Hey,
very clever. I was impressed by that, but yeah, I'm bored. Will I buy it? Probably not.
Definitely not. I've got enough stress in my life.
Exactly. In other good gaming news, though, Forza Horizon 4, if you've been watching E3, is going to be based in Scotland.
Whoosh.
Yes! You're not remotely excited by this?
No.
This is freaking amazing. You can whiz through Edinburgh past Scott Monument.
I do that on a daily basis.
But now there's no trams in the way, so...
That doesn't matter to me.
Maybe there is. But I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Will we see Easter Road? Will we see Tynecastle? Probably not.
They may see Murrayfield. They
might see Murrayfield.
CGI in a Murrayfield.
Which leads me to the question, John. What's the Hearts car and what's the Hibs car?
Well, you need to, if you're Hearts, you've read for Hertz, so...
Hertz, right, okay, so Hertz, I like that. So the high BMWs?
The high Beetle?
High Bs? High Vs? High V8s? I definitely like the Hertz thing for the Hearts, though.
Jambo's Jag.
The Jammy Jambos.
The Jambo Jag.
The Hibby Hondas. That's a terrible name. Oh dear, the hippie Hilux, the Toyota Hilux pickup truck. So we'll maybe see some of those in the game. Get back to us. I'll maybe try some renders of those later on in the week to see. Hearts versus Hibs, the horse of Horizon.
Cornwall drag race down Leith Walk.
That'd be brilliant. This is what we need. In the summer, when the football doesn't happen, we just have various sporting events contested by various sets of fans. So we go to the stock car track at Cowdenbeath and we have like a banger race with all the teams in the Premiership and stuff, right?
Class.
We then go, what else could we do? Cricket? Oh!
We're doing well in the cricket.
We did! Flipping heck. I just woke up one morning and read that Scotland had beat England and I was like the England? I didn't even know we were playing.
Just need to beat them with croquet and that's it.
I know. Sorted. We've done them at elephant polo, so happy days. Anyway, I think sorry about that random Hibs Hearts car chat. That was weird. Write in if you've got any suggestions. See, that's a perfect thing for Tam and Thingme on
a competitive show.
It's not a competitive show, but like what car would the Hearts and the Hibs drive? So anyway, I think that rounds off our Trez random Scottish football chat, and I think John's got something to say on a more international level now, am I correct in saying?
Yes, how deep is your bunker?
How deep is your bunker? Oh dear, very, very deep, John. Keeping myself safe from those Russian ultras, I think.
Hiding a wee Takwishka doll.
Well, yeah, you pop out one after the other. I was looking, because last week I was looking for some theme music for, the World Cup segments we're going to be doing on this show. And I was looking for just something with a Russian twist, but that was still quite modern. Can you guess what I ended up coming up with?
Is it Call of Duty?
It's not Call of Duty.
That's disappointing.
See, that's quite extreme, because that is just the national anthem, and there's a lot of military chanting. The only other thing I could come across was the theme tune for Tetris, which is actually a Russian folk song.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
Wow.
It was developed in Russia, so there we go. And what else do you think's the other one?
Ra Ra Rasputin.
Ra Ra Rasputin by Boney M. And I was listening to it, this doesn't sound remotely Russian, but I've had it looping on the car. And Joe, the only reason I remembered that song was I was like, when we used to go to house parties and they had Just Dance, they used to wear the Russian hats and stuff. I thought, that must sound Russian. I listened to it and it's not Russian. It's Germans that sing it. It's ridiculous. Boney M are German, I believe. So, again, right in. I can't find anything.
Oh, I don't know. No any of the kind of Cossack dancing songs or
there's
a bit of Tchaikovsky or
that's a bit. See, it's either downbeat or it's like really classic. I'm trying to find a middle ground. Like that Indian song they always play.
Is it not Crack or Not? Was that not written by a Russian?
Could be. I've got Babushka by Kate Bush as well.
I don't know how that fits.
I don't think it's very Russian. Anyway,
Saturday night's alright for fighting.
Well, listen in next week to see what I actually come up with.
Could be interesting.
Yeah, again, suggestions to me, because I really am puzzled. Anyway, to the World Cup, which starts on Friday.
Thursday.
Brilliant. Thursday.
Good start.
I don't care. I'm not rushing Saudi Arabia. Who cares about that?
Up a 0-0.
You predict 0-0. I mean, Russia aren't a very good international side. I think they're ranked 60-something?
They're the lowest ranked team in the tournament.
You're kidding?
Nope.
Behind Saudi Arabia and Iran and stuff?
Yes. Iran are actually high the funds, if I remember right.
The only Iran player I know was that Sardar Azmoun, who was a Celtic target at one point and a good Champions League player for Dynamo Kiev or something.
There's a really good Iranian player you could get on Football Manager 2011.
Right.
Oh, what was his name?
Brilliant.
Because you could sign him after on a pre-contract, and in your second season, signed him every time. What was his name? He played for Tehran, which was somehow in the game.
Right.
I can't remember his name, but yeah, Iran are actually decent. They won't do very much, but
no,
they're decent.
I think my picks of more obscure ones were like them, Saudi Arabia. Who else do we have? Well, Iceland, but Iceland pushed Germany quite hard on a friendly recently.
Iceland won their group with Croatia in it.
Did they?
Yep.
See, Kari Arneson's leaving our shores yet again. He signed for an Icelandic team.
He didn't like the style of British football.
No, he didn't. I think he just hated the lifestyle here. I don't entirely blame him.
Well, after these performances in the Cup semi-final.
It was dire. That's the thing, he never played that well here. He never played that well here, but in that international team, he's a freaking sensation.
Oh,
his only inform card this season came because of his Iceland performance.
He scored, did he not again?
He did.
Albania.
He launched himself into like a 78 rated inform out of nowhere.
Aye.
And there was a really weird Adam Rooney one in the one game he played well as well.
I seen there was a Kenny Miller with 78 pace.
Oh, that's a beast of a card though. Like the shooting on it is insane.
When was Kenny Miller even like that?
Kenny Miller's been a brilliant footballer. Not at the World Cup though. I see though that you get 200 grand for every player apparently that goes. So Celtic and all that apparently are in the money.
Celtic
8 players or something like that.
Have they?
I think so. But Gamboa, Rogic.
Oh, Gamboa counts.
Apparently so. I wasn't entirely sure he's still there.
At that rate, Falkers should just sign every Saudi Arabian player just for a fortnight and get the money.
Unfortunately, their new signing, Leo Fazan, won't be making the France team anytime soon.
Sad.
So no, it's a weird game to open on, I think.
It is. I don't know if they could have fudged it, maybe made it like Russia-Uruguay, which is a far more interesting game.
But then they might have got beat by Uruguay, which wouldn't have gone down that well.
Ooh, and you will get a big crowd
Regardless.
TV-wise.
Yeah.
Anyway. Who's your kind of dark horse?
I think it's just Argentina. They've been for too long, Messi's just no done it at these international tournaments, and I think that time's got to come, because he must be furious that Ronaldo semi-piloted that Portugal team to the Euros despite the fact he was injured for that final, I know. But I think this is the one thing he's got left to achieve, and Argentina do have a good team around them.
It's a decent team. It's not great.
Yeah, but you don't need a great team at an international tournament. You just need a good team.
You need good strikers and 2 decent centre-backs, which they kind of have.
And they've got the best player in the world.
Yes, when he wants to be.
Yes.
At international level. But you're right, I totally agree with the Ronaldo comparison. In the time of history, people will look back and go,
I love history.
The two of them are brilliant together, but Ronaldo won an international competition with Portugal, who aren't all that great, and therefore he becomes the best player in the world.
Who are your dark horses then?
Senegal, no doubt.
You kidding?
Nope. Honestly, that team is brilliant.
Who's in it?
Koulibaly, Napoli
really?
centre-back.
Oh, yeah.
Sadio Mane.
Wait a minute. Koulibaly, 2 seasons ago, was French, wasn't he?
No, he's always been Senegalese.
I think he's converted there. All right.
Even still doesn't matter. Like, world-class centre-back.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Absolute
very,
brick.
Very good player.
You got Sadio Mane up front.
Mane.
Kouyaté,
Right.
Ndiaye. Most of the midfield
Ndiaye.
plays in the Premier League.
Ndiaye play
He
for?
plays for either Everton or West Ham. It's a decent squad. Like, you look at it and you go, not bad.
Are they're in the same group as what? Japan,
Colombia.
Poland, isn't it?
Colombia.
That could be ticked.
That's what I'm saying. They have a fair chance of making it through.
Will we see James Rodriguez shine again for Colombia as he did? And that's what earned
Well, that
him
was my next question for you. Who's going to be the
star.
James Rodriguez of this tournament?
See, like the folk like James Rodriguez came out of nowhere,
Exactly.
and then in Germany it was probably someone like Klose or like Podolski.
Mario Götze.
But who did they take? Did they take Mario Gomez? Germany?
They did.
Flipping heck!
35-year-old
I know.
Stuttgart striker.
Mario Gomez. Mario Gomez.
Yeah,
They took a really weird team.
they're going to struggle.
Yeah,
I don't rate that squad at all.
they're not bothered. They've won it enough recently.
They're in a weird transition. A lot of people are pointing at Spain to win it. I'm less convinced.
No, they just don't have the big firepower that
They
they
don't
used
have
to.
the kind of dig in midfield.
No.
France have got a great squad. They must be up close. And I think if Brazil come out with the intent that you expect them to have, they'll win it.
See, that's the thing. Like, you know, you talk about player of the tournament. You know, is someone like Neymar going to rise up? Is Griezmann going to smoke it like he did the Euros? Can Pogba finally show what he's actually worth? Or
If they play them in the right position.
well, this is the time to show your proper motivation. If you're properly motivated, you can be one of the best players at this tournament.
Oh, aye. It's
doubt
wide
about
open.
it. Do you have a shout for best player of the tournament so far?
It's a tough one. I think it will come from a
South American nation.
I don't know, I was going to say a slightly more kind of underdog nation, shall we say. It could be somebody from Colombia, it could be
Your eye on
that kind of thing. It's hard to say. Like,
what about
I think there'll be a lot of moves that come out of it.
What about was it not Suleiman Koulibaly? Who was the Kilmarnock striker? That was absolutely roasting for like 8 minutes, and then we sold him to Egypt.
Crikey, I know the one you're talking about.
Was he Koulibaly? Was that his name?
He was, French.
Oh, darn. I thought
He meant to be French.
would have been good to see him. Well, get him back.
That'd be great.
I would have named him. I would have named flipping Sonny Aluko's playing the tournament, but he's no going with Nigeria, unfortunately. It's interesting though, no one's been lighting the world on fire in their friendlies.
Not particularly. England have been great. I want to talk about them. They've been good in the first 45 minutes of the game, and then they've massively tailed off.
They have, like, the only big star in their team I would say is Harry Kane. The rest of them are all pretty mediocre.
Most of them are.
Players.
I think Rashford people in mind that are kind of like, this is the guy who's going to really show off his talent.
Aye.
Well, they're there.
Like, how many of that England team were in the Champions League final? Lallana by default.
Milner. No, Milner's not going. It'll be Henderson.
Which he didn't play a big part, did he?
Not great.
I just don't think they have the firepower. And like the folk like Trent Alexander-Arnold and who's the Loftus-Cheek and stuff, like,
a weird one as well.
So you're not going to win it. You're just not.
You need your John Joe Shelby. You need your Jamal Lascelles.
Well, right, hold on. Apparently Everton are looking at him, was the rumour.
Disaster. Tottenham were looking at Lascelles.
What did you make of them playing their last friendly at Elland Road?
I quite liked that.
Everyone seems to be speaking very positive. It was great to see Elland Road packed for the first time I can remember since I think a League Cup game against Man United. Donkeys
Their
years
games
ago.
are notorious for being moved all the time.
Yeah.
It was quite nice to see for them.
Leeds.
Let's get them all excited and hyped up and then watch them crash and burn together.
Exactly.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, I don't think there's much hope.
It's growing. They're getting there.
Well,
Let's talk sport and
I've
claiming
heard
the loss.
they're hoping to win their first game against Tunisia 6-0.
Okay.
Good luck with that.
They put on a good show against Spain.
Did they?
Aye.
Couldn't name you many Tunisians either, just be told. I think a lot of them will play in France and stuff, I presume.
Is it Benatia?
Oh, Mehdi Benatia. Isn't he not Moroccan?
Maybe Moroccan. I thought he was maybe Tunisian.
No, I think he's maybe Moroccan. How far do we think they'll get? And when do you think they'll be knocked out on penalties?
England group stages.
Group stages. That's brutal.
Belgium will absolutely annihilate that group.
Yeah, but Belgium have never, they've just never done it. For all the hype and for all the class. Well, Kazri plays for Tunisia. He's played quite well in League One this year. Abdenauer. That's Abdenauer just now, reminding me he's in the team.
Thanks, guys.
Beyond that, I'm struggling.
Is that a couple of bronze players at the bottom as well?
Yeah, there is bronze players. As you can tell, I'm using the FIFA cards as my scouting source. But Belgium, for all the hype, just never done it. They've just no. Hazard's not even one we spoke about for being a star of the tournament.
Nah, I don't know. I think I'm really quite miffed that they're not taking the England. I think that's a huge mistake.
I mean, he is a proper gritty.
Because he's great for a World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
He'd be breaking some legs. It'd be fantastic. I'm quite disappointed in that. The tournament's kind of lost a good player for that.
They're not taking him, they're taking Deirdre Boyata.
Aye, like Christ. Just go with a centre back less.
It's very bizarre. But we will watch with anticipation and see what's what. I'm not tuning in this week because it is Le Mans 24 hours, so I am off on motorsport duties. But we'll watch sporadically. I don't know, is the time difference too bad in Russia? I don't think it's too bad.
Pretty good, actually. The opening game Thursday is a 7 o'clock kick-off.
Cracking.
I think it must be about midnight.
Is the later games
over in Russia. Russia was like a 4 or 5 hour time difference to ourselves.
They did that a few times. I'm sure they played Zenit St. Petersburg games in Europe that didn't finish until like 1-2 in the morning.
Aye.
And
even remember the Champions League final? Man United beat Chelsea in Moscow. That didn't finish till about 1 in the morning to satisfy a British audience.
Aye, I know, I remember that.
But they've got to time it because the Australian games, certainly the first one kicks off at 11 in the morning,
right?
Our time,
yes,
which is about midnight to 1 in the morning
their time.
Over certainly in Sydney.
Oh yeah, that's a nightmare for the Australians, but they're never going to be any good. I saw in the news they were training their workers to smile.
Lovely.
It's frowned upon in public in Russia to smile, and you can actually see it from the kind of natural structure of their faces. It's just a frown. So all these railway people smiling just look really, really weird.
It's going to be bizarre. I'm glad I'm not going.
Yeah, I wouldn't go if Scotland made it, to be honest. Like,
I seen I can't remember who, one of these kind of weird Facebook groups posted the ticket purchases by nation.
mm-hmm.
Russia bought 800,000 tickets.
Yeah.
The next one's the US, who have bought just under 100,000.
Demand our beast, but alright.
Yep, bizarre. Don't know why.
Be tourism, I suppose, won't it?
China were third,
Really?
with just under 80,000.
There'll be a lot of those sort of tourists.
So it's just full of tourists.
Are they there in the competition? I think they...
China, no.
No, they're not.
No, it's only Japan, Saudi Arabia,
South Korea.
Australia, and South Korea's the four Asian. I don't know why China. Well,
So it'll be loads of people with their phones out taking pictures, won't it?
it'll be like going to a Real Madrid game.
Well, yeah. Unfortunately, so that is interesting.
Try to remember the rest.
The whole thing's very corporate for a while, though. Like,
It's corporate, and it's there's a weird feeling about it.
it'll feel very weird in Qatar. I'll be interested to see how they spin that, because
I don't think that'll go ahead.
well, it is going ahead though.
I don't think it will.
I'd be interested to see what they do with like booze and things like that for a start.
Imagine your fan zone in 47-degree heat. You'll not be able to drink anyway.
Yeah, but the good thing about Qatar is you can relatively easily bounce about to different places. Russia, on the other hand,
It's just you're forever. You're over. I mean, you're effectively on the Finnish border when you're playing in Kaliningrad, and then you're doing the Georgian border when you go to Sochi.
well, there's some that are actually separated by other countries, and some of these are literally only really accessed by plane.
Or annexed.
Well, like, kind of, yeah, kind of. A lot of really funny stadiums, like see that one with a massive stand.
Or the with scaffolding.
Aye.
Whoa, I would tell you. You're up the back row of that.
I'm sorry, I've seen temporary stands in my time. None of them have been what's
that
the biggest
high.
ones? None of them have been remotely that high. And yes, I see they've got round the problem of what minimum capacity of like 35,000 or something, but just the pictures of it look utterly bizarre.
It's been done with a funny lens, but even then, that is.
But right, you're
not going to be able to see anything.
You get some German fans doing the bouncy on that, it is gone.
Oh, aye.
It is gone. Like and the kind of. But you know, we trust in the architects.
Yep, we trust in the Labour.
Well, you know, we saw that shopping centre and stuff recently, but what else? Frankie Boyle's been doing his.
I'm still to watch that.
I've watched clips of it, and it's quite funny because he's talked about the floodlights being akin to, you know, like a Glaswegian's, you know, crack garden or whatever in his shed. So I don't know why he's done it, but it seems
Candles
to be
in a jam jar. Like.
Yeah, comments akin to that. So that was quite interesting. But a game I'll watch with bated breath. Who's in the final, John?
Well, because of the stupid kind of ladder setup, is really awkward.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so is there actual like seeding here?
Well, a little bit. So you can like, your semi-finalists. Let's say you have a choice of who would get through. Spain, France, or Argentina. Who would that? Pick two of them to be in the semi-final.
I'm going to pick France and I'm going to pick Argentina.
Right. So Spain get kicked out.
Yeah.
I think they would need to.
I've never rated PK as a defender.
I'm sure they need to play France at some stage anyway to get to that stage.
Probably.
And for the other half, you've got a choice of, let's say, Brazil.
They're the kind of dark horses as well. They're a bit of an unknown quantity.
Or maybe Germany, Belgium, or England, or Senegal.
Why would you bring up Senegal? Have you got the kit for Senegal?
No, but I want it. Oh,
is it for sale?
The white one.
Is it one of the best selling ones? I saw an article about one of the best selling ones was not one of the mainstream.
Nigeria's pre-sold.
I know.
3 million.
I know. Completely
Doesn't look that great.
It's pretty cool.
I don't like it.
It's just a retro thing. I mean, they just copy and pasted something from 10 years ago and everyone's like, "Wah!"
I don't really like it.
The fashionista's choice, as I said last week.
It's those people doing the floss.
Yes. Oh! I think...
Doing the floss in your retro kit.
Stop! I can't even do it.
Get out your iPhone.
On that cringeworthy and rather depressing note, it's time to end. So we've gone all the way from Sutton United, Belarus,
Bonus
United to Senegal and back. So don't say we don't take you on a world tour here at Sofa Manager on the Scottish Football Podcast. So thank you very much for listening from me, Paul.
Cheers, guys.
And don't forget, we are now on loads of different podcast services.
We are everywhere.
Absolutely everywhere. So there is zero excuse. Share it with your pals. We'd be much appreciated. So have a good evening, a good afternoon, and a good morning. Bye-bye.